Hello, Hana the Suburban Witch here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to be talking about using the tarot for psychic and spiritual protection. This is actually just a snippet of a bigger class that I did on using the tarot for protection. If you want, you can get access to that class for free. That's like an hour-long class by hitting the link down below. That will take you there. It says click here, click that. But if you don't have time for that, you don't want that, you just want a little tarot spread to help you on your way, this is what we're going to be doing today. Now, for this, I highly suggest getting a deck that is not fluffy, because a fluffy deck is often not going to give you a cut and dry, clear answer that you want when you're talking about spiritual protection. I personally favor the Thoth tarot for this kind of working. This is what I personally use when I'm doing house cleansings and things like that. So we're going to take our handy dandy Thoth and we are going to do a 3-card spread. Or any tarot deck that you have. Look, if all you have is fluffy decks, go with that. Go with what you have, right? But just choose the deck that can be a little bit harsh sometimes. That's usually what it's good for. All right, so we're going to pull 3 cards. This is a 3-card spread. The very first card is going to be a card to represent your physical protections. We're going to pull another card that is to represent your mental protections, and a third card to represent your spiritual protections. So I'm going to give you a little example here. I have pre-selected these. This isn't what's popped out because it's for teaching purposes and I want to show you a good example. So what I'm going to show you is an example of cards that could come up and what they could mean and what they could be telling you. Now, if all the cards you pull are positive and uplifting and good cards, then you're sweet, babe. You have all your protections in place. You're good. But if it's not quite like that, that's when we need to look a little bit deeper. Let's go. So pull 3 cards. The very first card, card number 1, is going to be physical. This is talking about physical protection. Card number 2 is going to be mental. It's talking about mental protection. And card number 3 is talking about spiritual protection. So what do they mean? Just in a nutshell, physical is like amulets that you wear, right? Crystals, like protective crystals. Maybe you put on some fiery wall of protection oil. Maybe you have physical wards up, right, that are protecting your home. This is about those things. So let's show what a card could come up for that. Fair warning, the Thoth is a pretty sharp deck, so just keep that in mind. You can see down the bottom it says interference. This doesn't look like a pleasant card. So what I would say if something like this came up in physical, as an example, this would mean someone has been interfering with your wards and this is a time to go and check on them. Maybe there's a crack in your protective crystal. Maybe someone has switched up what it's supposed to do, right? Like, depends on your situation, but you can have people, like sometimes you live with another witch and maybe they've literally interfered with your protections. Or perhaps maybe the mailman knocked over your little protective ward at the front of the house, right? Or someone swept away the salt that you put there. Or you've been using the wrong oil and it's just got the wrong lid on it and you didn't realize. Like, there's been some interference in your physical protections and you need to go sort it out, okay? Because that is like a little bit of a leak or an area that you need to fix. Let's talk about card number 2 though. That's our mental protections. This is talking about your mindset, your ability to shield correctly, your limiting beliefs, right? If you believe that you are cursed, guess what's going to happen, regardless of whether or not you've been cursed. So this is a really good one to be aware of, and this trips a lot of people up. Often you can have your physical and your spiritual protections are perfect, but this is where you're stuffing up. Now, let's say we get this card. This is the 3 of Swords. You can see down the bottom it says sorrow. This would indicate that your own emotional state is affecting your mental protections. This one often comes up in a period of grief. If you are grieving, you are vulnerable, you are energetically vulnerable, and that's where things can get in and get through your defense systems. So this is where you need to start working on, working on your shielding, putting in some really good affirmations about protection. Listen, I have a free shielding and protective psychic shutdown meditation. It's out on Spotify. You just search Meditations by Suburban Witchery. That will pop up. It's free. It's like a 12-minute meant to help you fall asleep protected and psychically shut down. That is perfect. That's the sort of thing you need for this one. And working on your limiting beliefs around how protected you are. Card number 3. So card number 3 is talking about your spiritual protections. Spiritual protections. This is referring to things like your ancestors, your higher self, your guides, deities if you work with deities. Let's say you get this one. This is the 8 of Cups. And in the Thoth, you can see down the bottom, it says indolence. Have a think. What do you think that could mean? Ding, ding, ding. All right. If you said you've been lazy with your altars, you would be correct. If you've said you have been neglecting your spirits, you would be correct. So that's what that could be telling us, right? Now, again, if you're getting positive cards in these, it means you don't have to worry. You're good in those areas. But if you're getting the more difficult cards, that's a little warning sign to tell you that's an area you need to work on. Otherwise, you could be spiritually vulnerable. Again, this is just a tiny little excerpt from the full class. The full class is free for you to access. It's just down there. All you got to do is click it and you can get access to it. And in that class, I go through all the cards to look out for, what they could mean, using both the Rider-Waite-Smith and the Thoth Tarot deck so that you are covered on all bases. It is perfect for anyone looking to help keep themselves protected spiritually, especially if you're a witch. If you know somebody that needs that class, please feel free to send it to them. If you know somebody that needs this video, please feel free to send it to them. I want to make sure that you and all of my fellow witches, spiritual practitioners, are protected and have yourselves sorted. I don't want anyone to get into a sticky situation because, I get so many clients that are in sticky situations and I would like to avoid that for them because it's not fun. So I hope this helps you. I hope this gets you thinking a little bit more creatively about how you can use divination in your everyday spiritual practice. If you have any questions, drop them below. Happy to answer them. And I hope to see you in the class. Bye. Good. That was good.